Okay, good morning. Welcome everyone. We have some a great audience here and some people online. So you'll see me sort of staying a bit stationary here and switching back to the camera as well. Thank you so much for being here today for this information session. My name is Adriana Diaz. I'm the Director of Teaching and Learning at the School of Languages and Cultures, and I hope you're all here for this amazing session about the Diploma of Languages. Yes. So let's get started. Before I continue with all of the interesting information you're waiting to hear, I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands on which we're meeting today. UQ has been a place of learning for many, many, many years, and we hope to continue that tradition through the various types of studies that I'm sure I'll learn from you about today that you're doing, including languages, and of course the richness of languages as well is very much present. Just a little roadmap for today. We'll start after this brief welcome to a conversation about why languages. And I'm sure if you're here to learn about how to incorporate languages in your studies, you already have some ideas, but I'd like to share a few more. And then a very crucial bit of information, understanding program structure, which can be a little bit tricky. And we'll have a Q&A at the end. But in the meantime, for people and our audience online, we have some colleagues here present already on Zoom answering questions. And also online, I just wanted to introduce Dr. Angie Nags. You can see her waving there. She is our School of Languages curriculum employability expert, and I'm sure she'll have some really great tips to share about career opportunities. Okay, so I'll just reduce that a little bit. There we go. So the Diploma of Languages, who is this for? Basically, it's for everyone and anyone. If you have studied before in high school and you want to continue with your language studies, it is for you. But also, if you have never done language studies or you want to study a language that's completely new to you, that you didn't do in high school, you'll be doing it for the first time, this is also for you. So yes, everyone can do this within some constraints that the university sets for program structure, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, why languages? So I'll just check here, just based on my previous slide, what languages have you studied in high school? What languages do we have already here in the audience? Do we have Japanese? Yes, Japanese, French, German, Korean, no, Chinese. Spanish? No, Indonesian? No, Russian. Okay, well, these are some of the languages that you can study with us, but it's great. So Japanese is very popular in high schools, and you can definitely continue with your learning journey here. And I'll show you some possible avenues to do that. Okay, so why? Why do we really want to continue with your investment over the last couple of years, the hours that you've spent learning a language, or perhaps your passion to learn about a new language? So basically, you want to be part of the majority and not the minority in the world that will only speak English in the future. So monolingualism is definitely out. The future for communication will be multilingual. Native English speakers by 2050, which is not that far away really, will make up less than 5%. So that's really going to become a minority. You want to stand out from the crowd, and really, if you've done languages in high school, just have a look at these figures. They're really very interesting. Less than 10% of Australian students finish graduate year 12 with a language. So it makes you really competitive. And in Queensland, there's some areas where it might be as low as 8%. So I think this is really important. And global careers. Angie, I'm sure we'll share some tips later, but definitely languages can really help to enhance your career prospects here in the international domain. We know it's a lifelong skill. So you start working on it in high school, you're investing all of those hours, but really it's a lifelong skill. And it's not just about the language that you learn, but also there's so many cognitive benefits that you have: lateral thinking, perspective taking. But when you learn another language, even if you don't become perfectly fluent in it, you learn to see the world through someone else's eyes. And I don't think many subjects can allow you to do that. So definitely boost your employability and build that kind of international awareness of what's going on when you can read the news in the native tongue, in someone else's language, when you can conduct business in another person's native tongue. So we'll have a look at some of this and how this translates in some career prospects as well. Now, some people may be wondering, in the age of generative AI, why do I need to still learn a language? Can't I just ask Siri or Google Translate to do this for me? Well, here are some reasons why this is just the technology just will never really overcome the human aspect of communication. Some of these aspects are lack of awareness of context, how to really change your discourse and the way you address someone, depending on the context, whether they are an Uber driver, a CEO, and you're in a romantic relationship. Really, you can't incorporate all of that into just Google Translate. Yes, I don't know if you've used it, but it's very hard. There's no guarantee of accuracy and no regard for context, human, social bias. So this technology is still created with human language. So we have large language data that is fed into this technology that still has a lot of biases. So let's say I put into Google Translate in English, the doctor entered the room, and I want that translated into a language such as Spanish, which has a gender requirement. So most likely it would say el doctor, the male doctor. So it will immediately translate doctor based on the stereotypical bias type of idea that we have about certain professions. That's just a very simple example, but just to give you an idea. So if you just put that into Google Translate, will it help? Maybe in an emergency, it might, but for communication in your workplace, in a very important meeting, in diplomatic communication, I don't think so. There's no security of privacy, as we know, with data. And of course, the human factor of really reading the room and seeing how your message is reaching or not the audience that you have in mind. So all of that can be achieved with just this technology. And what I was saying before about perspective taking is really important. So most of our communication today is really limited by algorithms. Right? So we only see more of what we like and what we like to hear and what we like to see. Where are you confronted? In what context can you be confronted with a perspective that's not yours anymore? Social media really, really constrains that for us. So language learning, being exposed to different cultures, being able to travel, to communicate with other people in their own language will really expand that for you and enhance your critical thinking skills as well. Definitely not all about languages, not necessarily being able to be a fluent speaker in a language, but aiming for that with the addition of developing intercultural, cross-cultural communication skills, active listening, empathy, really that resilience that comes from knowing that you'll say something and you'll probably will not pronounce it right the first time, will probably make mistakes with grammar, but just developing that resilience and self-awareness of also your own learning processes. How do you learn best? Do you learn best when you listen to another language or when you read it? or when you simply practice with someone else. So lots of benefits that are just really beyond the grammar and vocabulary learning in a different language. Global careers. Well, you name it, you can incorporate a language to it. I know people think about translation and interpreting, and of course, education. But to be honest, any career can really benefit and just be enhanced by the knowledge of another language. I'm just going to quickly ask here, Angie, if you wanted to add anything. This is your area of expertise.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. And hello, everybody online and in the room. I apologize that I'm not there, but I'm actually activating my intercultural communication skills later on this afternoon and attending the Queensland Chinese Consulate New Year celebration, Chinese New Year celebration with the Chinese ambassador as well. So that's really exciting for me. And I wouldn't have had that opportunity if I hadn't been really focusing in my time at UQ, but also when I was studying and developing intercultural communication and intercultural competencies that enable me to engage with a wide spectrum of people from all over the globe. What I wanted to share, just to augment what already has been spoken about, is the 2025, where is it? World Economic Forum The Future of Jobs report. Now, that is done every 5 years, and this report is from 2025 to 2030, and that's the world's premium economic specialists who've come together to look at what kind of skills and kind of jobs can we look at that are going to be fundamentally important to us in the next 5 years and then going forward. And I wanted to just give you a high-level look at some of those premium skills. So obviously, which we know already, AI and big data top the list of fastest growing skills. Now, I think what people don't really realize is one of the key skills required for the AI industry to grow in Australia and across the globe is what we call linguistic understanding. So when you learn a new language and you learn how language functions, and as part of that process of learning a language, you actually learn how to learn a language. And that understanding is absolutely critical in the AI industry because that's how AI and are able to predict text and speak. So ChatGPT couldn't speak back to you without a team of highly qualified language specialists. And so what we're finding is people don't realize that you actually need strong language skills and strong language study at university in order to access the premium jobs and ongoing roles in AI. So that's something that is really important and really stood out to me. But it then says, complementing these technology-related skills, creative thinking, resilience, flexibility, and agility, along with curiosity and lifelong learning, are expected to continue to rise in importance over the 2025 to 2030 period. What that tells me is that the skills that you gain when learning a language, which are all included in that list, are going to be of premium. And by doing a Diplang, you're actually giving yourself evidence so that when you're looking for a job, when you graduate out into industry, you've actually got evidence of your ability to think in different ways, to think outside the box. And you also have evidence of your flexibility. Learning a language requires a lot of flexibility, and also your curiosity and lifelong learning. As an adult, when you learn a language, you're actually training your brain to learn in a new way. And that demonstrates your ability post-secondary schooling to add new skills. That demonstrates that, yes, when you're 45, you can still learn something new. When you're 60, you can upskill, you can reskill. And it is a really strong part of a CV when going into an industry that is facing rapid changes. So that's why we talk about the fact that having a language doesn't just give you language-related career opportunities, but it actually gives you a foundation for any career whatsoever. And beyond that, it also takes away boundaries. When you are monolingual, you are reliant heavily on either external service providers who can translate and interpret your work into a different country's language, or on your teammates who can speak that language. And it makes you a bit more expendable. It makes you expensive in a global team, because if you can't speak additional language, they have to pay someone else to do that for you. And it also makes you a liability when traveling for global business. Being able to demonstrate your ability and interest in learning additional languages shows a company that you really do want to work in a global space. And once you've learned one language, it also shows that you're able to learn more. Which is, again, absolutely core. So I hope that this latest report from the World Trade Organization gives you a little bit of a perspective on what the global industry is looking for in terms of skills and how the Diplang actually uniquely qualifies you for that.
Thank you, Angie. Thank you so much. We'll have time for questions later, and Angie will stick around as well in case there are any. Okay, so I'll just minimize that. Thank you so much. Okay, so we come to the important bit of the session I know you're waiting for. It's understanding how to incorporate this into your studies. So there's currently 2 available pathways for the Diplang, the Diploma of Languages. And one option is to do a concurrent diploma, and that's available to all our domestic students. And an option that became available this year is the dual degree program that's very specific. It's with selected undergraduate degrees, but it is available for domestic and international students. So if there's people in the audience as well that are interested in that, please pop questions into our Q&A chat. So let me go through these one by one, these options. So for the concurrent diploma, so what it means is that you will be enrolling in this diploma at the same time as your degree. So most of you, I imagine, would already be enrolled in what we call a parent program, which is your main program that you selected. You are able to add on to this a concurrent diploma in languages. So you will be studying 1 course per semester and also gain credits while you go on overseas exchange, which is available in many programs at UQ. And the other option with the dual programs is available for these undergraduate degrees that are listed here. So you can here combine your interest in these areas with the diploma in languages. And again, this is available to both domestic and international students. And this doesn't require to add it on. It's already packaged for you, only for these 3 degree programs at the moment. We're hoping to expand the offer, but at the moment we have this one. So we have Bachelor of Business Management, Bachelor of Commerce, and Bachelor of Engineering with honors. So what does this look like in a degree program structure? So you have to complete 16 units or 8 courses. You can do 8 courses in a major, or courses in each minor. So you can choose to do minors instead of just a major. This might be new language to you, but a major is like an area in which you specialize. And what it means is, it means you need to do 16 units or 8 courses. So what are your options? If you already have had a look at this, there is a drop-down menu online. When you go to this page, you have all of the available majors and all of the available minors. So here's some of the language that you can major and minor in. Ancient Greek, Chinese translation and interpreting, French or French advanced if you've had already completed some studies in high school, German, Indonesian, Japanese advanced as well, Korean, Latin, Russian, and Spanish. Russian is only available as a minor, but it's a very popular choice given the kind of global geopolitical situation at the moment. So, so just for you to have an idea of the kinds of offer. So we do have some languages that you can see very popular in schools. And what happens here is with those languages that such as Japanese, such as French or German, that are very popular in high school, when you come to university, that knowledge that you were able to develop and the level of proficiency is recognized, but you're being able to skip the introductory course. So you can, via an interview with our staff, you are able to enroll in, say, a second year course or a level 2 course or a level 3 course, depending on your language proficiency. The classes are pretty similar to high school. So we have between 20, 25, sometimes some larger courses, but very close to what you've experienced in high school, flexible timetable. You will be studying beyond the language. There is offer of courses about culture, literature, and cinema. Typically, most of our classes have 4 contact hours in the week. So you'll be expected to attend at least 2 days, 2 hours each day, and then do a lot of independent study at home. But the assessment is spread out throughout the semester, so it's easy to manage with other courses as well. I have some testimonials, but I think depending on time and questions, I think sometimes it's much more productive to respond to questions that are coming up from the audience. So please feel free online, and you can let me know, Mel and Sherry, if you have questions there. But if you have questions about the structure, the languages, anything that we've talked about. Okay, do you want me to pop them up here? Yeah, I'll stop sharing and I'll pop up the questions so we can see here. Okay, so, so there's been some questions that have already been answered. Yes, very good idea. Okay, so I will give you an email for questions that you have. So, okay, there's a question about the Russian minor becoming a major again. We would love for that to happen. It's not in the plans for this year specifically, but we'll definitely keep everyone updated if that's the case. So there are exchange opportunities and that's handled by a different department, but with the exchange opportunities, there's also scholarships available. So students can definitely have help with, and also it's important that that is timed correctly with the parent program in the case of the concurrent diploma. Sorry, Angie has something to add to that.
Yes, in terms of your employability award as well, there are also employability opportunities in the global experiences area at UQ. So there's not only the opportunity to do an exchange, which is awesome as well, but if that doesn't work with your program for whatever reason, there are global language opportunities, many of which are fully or partially funded. Almost all of them have some funding available to them. And in particular, for example, there are language intensives in Japan and New Caledonia, in Korea, and in China, just for example. And then, of course, remembering that if you have advanced language capabilities, when you go on exchange for your primary program, your parent program, you're allowed access by and large to courses at your host university that you would not normally have access to. So what that means is, for example, in Japanese, if you are studying Japanese at a more advanced level than just beginner, when you go on exchange to Japan, you're able to access actual courses in Japanese, whereas everybody else who's on exchange from all over the world are only allowed to access a certain pocket of courses which are kept away from the university students in general, just for international students, and they're taught in English. So it gives you a real edge in your ability to learn from some of the best universities overseas as well as UQ.
Thank you, Angie. Yes, definitely. And I think I saw a question pop up here, and I will move to you as well. There was a question about what happens if you want to do, what would be the difference between study languages as a general elective alongside my degree versus doing their diploma. So you can see the answer there from Sherry, who is our School of Languages and Culture school manager. So what I suggest here is, if your program or for whatever reason the diploma is not an option for you, you can still study languages, definitely. And I would even suggest, even if you don't end up being here at UQ with us, there are options for us to offer languages across institutions through an agreement we have with QUT and Griffith University. So you're still definitely able to continue incorporating language into your studies. So your question? Yeah. Oh, very tricky, very good question. So the question, just I'll repeat for the recording and the audience, is if you were to do the structure of the deep lang with 2 minors and you're meant to do 1 course per semester, how would you distribute that in your several years of study? I would suggest possibly starting with if you're doing a minor in a language that you already have some background knowledge in, and starting with that one so you don't lose the momentum. There are some of our courses that are offered during summer semester. So that's another option for you to consider. Let's say you want to continue with Japanese, so you can do your 1 course per semester. You're interested in Korean. We have a lot of students that combine 2 Asian languages. We do have some options to start your Korean studies over the summer. And then by the time you start, you're able to continue with that. You've done your minor in Japanese because it's only 4 courses. Yeah. So there's ways in which you can combine things. Not all of our courses are offered during summer. And only, I think, Russian at the moment has the flexibility of external online delivery. So the rest are all in person. So yes. Yes. Yeah, great question. So I'll just repeat it for the recording. So the question is, if you're doing a 3-year undergraduate bachelor's degree, how can you fit in the deep lang along in the concurrent version? So it might be a little bit difficult, especially for semester 1. So some students can do what we call overload. So normally you study 4 courses per semester. But let's say you want to overload and do 5. You can do it, but not in semester 1. So in order to be able to be allowed to overload yourself with your studies, the university has a duty of care for you. So they think, oh, will you be able to cope? So in order to prove that, they require a minimum GPA of 4.5 after semester 1. So if after semester 1 you've proven that you are able to manage your coursework, you can tell the university, I would really, really like to give this overloading a go, and you could do that. Sherry. So maybe just say you did this semester 1 and go to Great. I might just repeat some of the details for the recording, and I can see there's also another question that is very much related to this. Is it common to study 5 subjects per semester to overload, what we call overload, in order to complete the studies? And what Sherry was saying is you definitely can after semester 1 and getting your 4.5 GPA minimum. However, it's important to plan it and to remember that there's a sequence of learning. So with language, you can't do 2 level, one level 1 and 1 level 2 course at the same time. So there are some disciplines in which you can do 2 different level courses. So a first year cross-cultural communication and a second year law. But in languages, you need to go the level 1 courses, then the level 2, then the level 3, and so on. So it is possible, but it's important to plan it really well and to consult with your parent program as well, see what the sequence of learning is. Questions from the audience here?
Have you accessed the study planner that your colleague just mentioned?
Oh, okay. So Sherry, the study planners for the Diploma can be accessed online. I think if they just Google study planners, can they find them?
They haven't been published yet, but they will be very soon. So
Yes.
maybe you can send a link out. We could advertise
Yes.
that and send a link out to everybody.
Yes. Yes, definitely. So I'll just repeat it. So we'll have study planners available on the HAS faculty, the HAS faculty website available for everyone. We'll send them out to people that have registered. We can't do the diploma if we're doing a bachelor's unless we want to. Okay, so there's another question, but I think that has been replied to. Yeah, with the 4.5. That's the 4.5 GPA was just for overloading. It wasn't to be able to do the diploma, just to clarify. Any other questions? Yeah. Yes. Yes. Yes.
How do you do that? It's to find out, like, that
So you do have access with the public timetable to the language classes timetable. So you can look up, let's say you want to do Spanish, first year Spanish, you can look up the timetable for Spanish. If you're not enrolled yet, as you said, you can't share your preferences, but at least you can start planning around what that might look like. The applications close for the Diploma on the 14th of February this year. So how long would it take after? This is the general application to add, yes. The 3rd of no, the 14th of Feb. So after that, did you say the 28th of January? For the preferences, if you don't know, I would try to plan it the best you can with the public timetable, and then jump in as soon as you can once it's been confirmed in your offer.
possible to, she's very Bachelor of Arts, but enrolled in switch into a language with Bachelor of Arts, and not in the association, so they switch that to whatever language. Does that not work?
Well, she can definitely do a major in a language within the Bachelor of Arts already.
But if she wants to do the language through the diploma, it's she should probably enroll in the subject.
She might be able to get cross-credited afterwards, right? No.
Bachelor of Arts and Diploma. What is Bachelor of Arts? Bachelor of Arts and did, well, she's
She's-
enrolled in the Bachelor of Arts, she's applied for the diploma, but just been asked to go back.
So there's many ways you can do that. The Bachelor of Arts is 3 years. You can do 2 majors or an extended major and a minor. She can save the language if she wants to add a diploma. That's another year, so it'd be 4 years in total. Just say she wants to do Spanish in a diploma, she can do that. If she wants to save her arts majors for something else, for example, psychology, history, and then there'll be general electives as well. Or if she doesn't, if she wants to use her Bachelor of Arts major as an actual language, she can do that and then not do the diploma. So it depends on the purpose of that. But some people who don't want to give up the majors in their current program, they would tack on a diploma in languages so that it doesn't eat into their program, if that makes sense. It just depends on what she wants to achieve. So yeah, if she's already filled up her Bachelor of Arts and she wants to do a language, she can do the diploma. Otherwise, she can just do a language in the Bachelor of Arts. Do you know what majors she wants to do in the BA?
Yeah,
Drama and
Writing, right.
On writing.
Yes.
So in, a lot of people don't know this, but in the Bachelor of Arts, there's 2 majors, as I said, which is it's 32 units. There's also 16 units, which is 1 year of general electives. If you wanted to do, what's the language in there? If you wanted to Japanese, you can do 3 majors in the BA. If you use your electives wisely, that makes sense. So that would be 3 years, 3 majors, but you have to plan very carefully. Or if you wanted to keep it for electives, then you would do a diploma. So it depends on what you want to achieve, but you can certainly achieve that in the Bachelor of Arts. There's space for that. Does that make
That's my
sense?
question of enrollment. When to,
When to switch.
yeah, because she's ready.
So the faculty of House, if you've already submitted that request, they will process it once it's approved, and it will be approved because you only need the entry requirements of your parent program, which is a BA already in. They will activate that and sign it. You'll see 2 programs, and you can then you can enroll with a diploma in the length of the courses that you want in Japanese. If you need to enroll now because you need to sign up for tutorials and so on, you could do that in the Bachelor of Arts, and then they can move your courses over. It just depends. Do you want to do 3? Is it 3 things, 3 majors that you want to do? Otherwise, is that what it is?
Yes. Yeah, I see. Yeah, so definitely, and you're able to do that pretty much as soon as possible. Like what you can organize for to add the Diploma of Languages through SciNet.
Has to process it and approve it before you. So the deadline for that was 14th of February. So
Yes.
you've already done it. They do get a lot of requests, so it does
Yeah.
take time.
Yeah.
And if you that, so the cost of it has this to happen, but you will be approved. That's us.
So you've submitted it already, right? You submitted the request. Yes, you can do that already. There's some questions here as well to clarify. Can one study multiple languages? For example, one through the Diploma of Language and the other through their degree or major. Yes, you can do that. Again, we normally suggest to people to be planned really carefully because they might do a language as part of their parent program, maybe as an elective or maybe as a minor, but they still want more languages. Just to keep in mind the investment of time and the investment of effort that it requires to study a language. So, because this to me suggests that you'll be doing multiple languages at the same time. So just consider that as something to think about. Yes.
Certainly pick Japanese courses that would look like a major, but it wouldn't be recognized as a major. It's management, they have marketing, information systems, and so on. So you can't just do a language major in a program that doesn't have a language major. Because you over there, you're doing the Bachelor of Arts, which does have languages. That's the key difference.
Yes.
So if you were interested, if you were in business management and you wanted to do a language, you probably would have a dual degree Bachelor of Business Management.
Yes.
That's a difference. You have to check the program rules and the current program that you're in. If they have electives, you can certainly that is to be general electives. Some programs and in other faculties that you only allowed to do electives that belong to that faculty.
Yeah, I'll just repeat that for the audience online. So it's important that the language is offered as part of the parent program in order to be able to take it. If it's offered within general electives, that's also another possibility. It may not be the case for every degree, but it's certainly an option under general electives as well. And it's not recognized, it won't be recognized with the word major in your academic transcript. Any more questions? Yes, over there. And what is the degree that you're enrolled in now? Bachelor of Design. And you did languages in a previous degree? In a Bachelor of Arts, in a Bachelor of Arts. So I'm not too sure because
Are you starting a Bachelor of Design from scratch? And how much have you done in languages in a previous BA?
8 units.
8 units. Can you tell me what language?
Chinese.
Chinese. Okay. So you want to see if you can add a Diplang to the Bachelor of Design studies? Yes. So do you want to add it as add an additional diploma in languages? Yes. Okay. So the first thing you would do is you'd have to apply program change request on My Sign It to add the diploma in languages. Bachelor of Design, I think, is part of the engineering EAT faculty. So if they were to approve that, then you can certainly apply for credit from Chinese courses in the BA towards your Diplang. Certainly you can do that. Yep.
Okay. Okay, there's some questions about specific bachelors. I'll just get back to these ones in a minute. Are there any more questions here from the audience? Yes. How do you apply? So you need to go to My Sign It, My Requests, and you'll be able to find the option of adding this program, and you'll need to obviously look for it. And I think you pretty much have time until the 14th, right? Yeah, 14th.
I would do it sooner rather than later because the faculty, your parent faculty, needs to approve it. So you said you're doing Bachelor of Science? Yep. So they would look at it, they would approve it, they would activate it. Once they've activated, when you log into Sign It, you see 2 programs. Bachelor of Science at the top, Diploma in Languages at the bottom. So the sooner you do it, the sooner you can enroll and sort yourself out. So yes, you need to do it through My Requests in My Sign It. Yep.
And in the meantime, if you're not sure what level you'll be able to start from, I would contact the major convener for Japanese. I think our major convener this year is Sanako. So Sanako Mitsugi, you can look her up, see what her email is and say, I want to enroll. There's a process involved in, it's a short questionnaire and then an interview to see where your level is at. Now we think, have you done Chinese with us or at a different university? Yeah, so people would have access to your record. So if you've done studies with us, you can say what courses you've completed and what your marks were, etc., so they can see what level is the most appropriate for you. So anyone with prior knowledge, while you're waiting for the administrative side of things, you can still contact the major conveners to find out if you are able to start from level 2 or level 3. So, other questions here from the audience? Yes? more than one language course for your Diploma. So generally, well, most of the level 1 courses, there's only one course, except in some of the Asian languages where there are 2 courses because one specializes in writing and one in speaking. So sometimes there's 2 courses available at level 1 that you can do at the same time. I think we have that in Japanese as well. This will depend on your parent program and just making sure that you're also completing the requirements, because there might be some core courses, compulsory courses for your parent program that you'll need to complete in semester 1. So there's definitely an option of doing 2 language courses in 1 semester. There's also an option of doing 1 language course and what we call a culture course. So some of our courses are taught in English, but they talk about history, the culture of that that community that speaks that language. So some students do those 2 courses at the same time. But again, just be mindful of your sequence of courses requirements for your parent program as well. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. That's a very good question. So the question, I'll repeat it. So if someone starts Japanese from beginner's level, what would be the expected level of linguistic competency at the end of their studies? So each of our courses is mapped against what's called the Common European Reference Framework for Languages. I don't know if you've seen this CEFR. It's a framework that allows us to say it's internationally recognized. And for instance, a beginner course would be an A1 course, A2, intermediate is B1, B2, and then the native level is C1, C2. So all of our courses are mapped against these levels, these 6 levels. So you can see when you look up the highest level courses, it will tell you in this course, by the end of this course, you will reach this level of proficiency. And this can vary between European languages and Asian languages, of course, because they may be harder. You may be able to demonstrate an intermediate level in writing, but an advanced level in speaking, for instance, depending on your skills and then what you were able to complete. I can't recall off the top of my head the level in Japanese, but you can certainly Google the course codes and it will tell you in the course description. I know, for instance, for Spanish, which is the stream that I teach, we get up to level B2, but that might be quite a high level for an Asian language, depending on where you start. And again, everyone is different and they come with different background knowledge. If you know another Asian language, you might be able to pick up more quickly some of the writing system, the pronunciation. Japanese pronunciation is really easy for me because it's very similar to Spanish. So I could probably sound really good, but my writing and reading would not be very good because it's very difficult to learn characters. Well, for me it was. Okay, just checking the questions. And you had your hand up before. Yes. Yeah, so the question is it possible to finish the diploma in 3 years if you do summer courses? So we only offer summer courses for very, very few of our languages. So at the moment it's Korean, and I think we have some TNI courses, some translation and interpreting, some French. So definitely would be hard to manage to finish in 3 years. Yes.
Yes, you can still finish after, but if you plan to do medicine, you may not have time to do it after unless you delay your medicine entry. We offer limited courses, language courses over summer, as Dr. Diaz said. However, science faculty might offer some courses over summer that you might want to do to catch up on the science side.
Yes, true. Okay. Any more questions? Yes. Oh, yeah, sorry.
No, you go.
If all of those 8 units are recognized as prior learnings, diploma of languages, which requires 16 units, so you would have 8 units left. It will definitely be shorter.
When did you study the Chinese courses? What year? Is it more than 10 years ago? Okay, so what you need to do, it would be fine if you did it last year, but you would look at the Diploma in Languages 2025 list. You would look at Chinese major and you would see if the courses match. If they match, you would get credit for all of them. Because it's the same list, it's just a different year. Sometimes we change courses every year, but Chinese should remain the same.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. So in some cases, when the amount of courses that we offer are enough for a major, but for the 16 units here, we can check individually for you. Yes, from that list of courses that you've already completed. So say you come into a degree to study a language that you already have prior learning with, and out of the list, your list becomes more and more reduced. And if you already completed, then you have very few courses left to complete the 16. We can definitely help you individually. We'll maybe grab your details and reply. I'm just looking at some other questions here. Okay,
There's 2 I haven't answered. Maybe we could do those.
Yes.
One is, could you go over how this would work with dual degree programs again, please?
So, with the dual degree programs in those 3 selected undergraduate programs that we showed in the slides, you would be enrolled from the get-go. So you wouldn't need to add anything to your degree. It's already packaged for you. And there are study planners. So this, what we call study planner, is simply just a page with a table that says semester 1, this is what you would be expected to do, semester 2, throughout all the years that you involved in this dual program. So the study planners are super important to understand and track what courses you are required to do. I'm trying to think what else.
Can I give an example? I think the student here, you said you're doing Bachelor of Engineering honours. So you could do it 2 ways. There's Bachelor of Engineering honours. You could go ahead and add a program change request to add the Diploma in Languages concurrently. Or given that the Bachelor of Engineering honours already has a dual degree with the Diploma in Languages, it's already structured, you could, let me see, engineering is higher entry requirements. You could request, instead of just adding the Diploma in Languages concurrently, you could ask to change to the dual degree. Then it's structured. When you if that were the case, when you log into My Sign-It, your program is not called Bachelor of Engineering Honours and then another one saying Diploma in Languages. You would have a dual degree in one box. Do you know what I mean? It will be called BE Ons Diplang. You just enroll in one box and that's your program. Your program would be 5 years in total, which is like 4 + 1. And there's a structure for that. So that might be easy for you if that's your intention to do Diploma in Languages. It's already structured. It's a structured program. If you had known about this before, you could have just put that on your QTAC preference, and then you would have gotten directly into that program. Does that make sense?
Hopefully that answers the question in the that we had in the Q&A. How do you access the study planners? Okay, so I think for these degrees that we have here, there is a study planner link available. I think I've seen it already.
We have to update it. That's so we'll get a list of everybody who's registered, and once the specific planners are live, we will email that to everybody, but it'll also be online on a HAS website. the one that you're referring to is a generic planner. The one,
Yes.
Dr. Diaz is showing one that's generic. We could show that. It just says
Yes.
courses on your engineering side and language 1, language 2 course.
I don't think they were here. I thought they might be, but they're not. The see full entry requirements, dual program scholarships available. I don't think this is study planner here, but
Yeah, and those ones are generic, so they
Yes.
don't give you the specific information you're after. It'll be on a HAS page, but they haven't uploaded them yet.
we'll be sharing
Yeah.
be sharing everything
Yeah.
with people that have registered.
Can I just answer another one that's online because I think people might be confused. This is one I haven't typed the answer to. Someone says, can I please clarify for a 4-year degree with 16 units electives available, would this still increase the time taken for the degree? How would we apply for the diploma in languages? So to clarify, the diploma in languages is 1 extra year. It is its own separate program. It doesn't shorten your parent program. So this particular person has a 4-year degree, could be Bachelor of Advanced Business Honours. That's a 4-year degree. If you were to add on the diploma in languages, that's another year. So you would be doing 5 years in total full-time or longer if you're going to study part-time. So it does increase the time. If you have 16 units of electives in your parent program, as I mentioned before, you may be able to do language courses, but if that program doesn't have a language major, it won't be recognized as a language major. It'll just look like you've done a bunch of electives in French. If you were to, apply for a job, you would show your employer, you'd say, look, I've done all these language courses, but it wouldn't say French major, for example. You also don't have a degree certificate that says diploma in languages with a French major. So that's the difference. With electives in other programs, you can certainly do 1 or 2 language courses. You could do the whole major. It just won't be recognized unless it's part of that parent program. For example, the Bachelor of Arts have language majors, so it would be recognized, but all other programs at UQ, it probably wouldn't be recognized because they have their majors, marketing, chemical engineering, et cetera, but it's not a language major. The Bachelor of Science, however, has language UQ minors, and you can do a UQ language minor there. So a minor is only four courses, 8 units, so it's a lot shorter. Yep.
The only other undergraduate program that has a compulsory language component is the Bachelor of International Studies. So that would be the only one that would include a language already. Okay, so I think we're nearly at the end of the presentation, and we just want to show the testimonials that you want to upload. Oh, the contact slide, yes. Yes, just the contact slide here. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out and let us know. We'll try to answer the questions that are online here. Feel free to reach out. There's some brochures on the tables as well. And I encourage you to look at the testimonials which are available on the website as well. There's really great stories of people that have combined their deep lang with other studies. This is a Bachelor of International Studies that I was mentioning before, an amazing graduate, Talia here. Tiffany, Bachelor of Social Science, Arts, and the deep lang in Ancient Greek. So these testimonials are available on the website too. I would highly recommend for you to have a look at. I wanted to thank Dr. Nags as well online. Thank you, Angie, for your time and for answering these questions today.
Well, thank you, everybody. My video. It's my first week back after a very long period of leave. So I appreciate everybody's patience with my slow brain. And I hope you have a wonderful week. I'm really hoping to see lots of you joining us in the classroom when we start the semester in March. So thank you, everybody. Bye.
Thank you, Angie. I will stop sharing and I will close the meeting online. But if you have any